Hallo, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush aamdeed, ji aya nu, goeiemorgen.
Bukhair agale, ni hao, tunashume, washwale, hi, genzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shoma chatore, ahlan wasal, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, suaviab, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV Ball and watching Ball this morning alongside the very fantastic, the very fabulous, the very superb, Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you on a cold Thursday morning?
Well, I'm doing absolutely great. Thank you for asking. What about you?
Well, I think I feel great too as well, and I think that I kind of overslept last night as
You
well.
did?
Yeah, and it's just because of the fact that I wanted to, and I think that oversleeping, ladies and gentlemen, can actually make you feel as if you haven't slept entirely, or it can make you feel a little tired. So I'm not going to recommend people to oversleep
Yeah,
because
of course.
yesterday I kind of slept during the day as well, and then afterwards at 11 p.m. I was in my bed. But yeah, I feel great. I feel energetic. The weather's great outside, and I think for everybody who wants to go up to the hills, I think that today's
Today is
the
the
day
day, of
that
course.
you can do that because it's superb outside.
Well, I understand what you're saying also. Well, today happens to be happy for me, being a student, of course. I'll tell you why. Because the class that we have on Thursday is so long and also, I'm sorry to say this, but so boring. So just last night, while I was thinking, oh my God, I have to go to my class right after my work,
Yeah.
it got cancelled.
Well, not
Imagine,
gone,
I'm so happy.
You can thank
But
me
please,
later. It's
yeah,
all
I
right.
know. But I'm just saying, for all the students out there, if you are not at school and watching the show right now, you should definitely be happy of going to school. You're going to regret that,
Exactly.
you weren't happy or you weren't enjoying your days later on. Because I think in the moment you don't realize how great of a thing you have until
Exactly,
you don't have it
and
anymore.
just the news where she's actually said that she's not going to have a class today, I think it makes me happy as well
I'm so
because while
happy.
we were students, I think that such kind of news always made us happy, and we
I
were like,
know.
okay, we need to have this news for the rest of our semester as well. But that does not really happen because one way or the other, the professor is going to show up one day and he's going to be like,
Oh,
oh,
makeup
makeup
class.
class, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very strong message to deliver today before we get started. And just yesterday, I was actually surfing on the internet and I saw this amazing interview of a father who was very poor and was unable to provide for his family. And he cried a little bit, which actually definitely had an impact on my heart as well. And he said that the very feeling that I was unable to feed my children and my wife killed me inside. And there were days when I actually thought about begging, but I didn't do that. But then there was somebody who actually offered him a job to clean gutters, and he took it up and he made sure that he's going to work hard every single day. But one way or the other, his son was not really happy because he was being bullied at school, where children were actually saying that your father is a gutter cleaner. And one way or the other, the father was so proud of what he did, he actually made sure that he's actually going to counsel his child. And now his child is very proud of his father, that his father is actually not begging and providing for the entire family.
So here's the thing, Shazad. Thank you so much for sharing such a beautiful message early in the morning.
Thank you.
Because, when you look at it, your parents are going to do anything and everything,
Yeah.
even beyond their capacity,
Exactly.
to, provide for you. The society has sort of bestowed a role upon a father, the society, we can say, or
Yep.
the religion, or the country, or people around you, actually, that the father has to be the provider.
Yep.
And we, Shazad, come across so many instances every other day where people resort to either begging or either, well, so many other things that are not accepted, which are criminal, let's say.
Yeah.
And even sometimes, I hate saying this, but it's in the news. I mean, people do even commit collective suicide as a family because they cannot provide for themselves.
Exactly.
So here's the thing, while keeping your dignity alive, it's always better to start with something that you earn on your own without begging. It can be small or big, but there's no such thing as small or big when it comes to profession, Shazad.
Exactly. Thank you very much for saying that. But now, hey, here's the good news. So that gentleman was actually able to build a house for himself.
Wow.
Now they've got their own house and he provides
Mashallah.
for his family and all of his children are actually going to school.
Brilliant.
So yeah, so I think that this is something that anybody and everybody can learn from, and it's great. But then at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, for example, not just Pakistan, I think when we're going to talk about UK in particular, because I kind of visit a lot,
Yeah.
and I've got a home over there. So what I've seen over there is whether may it be a garbage man, may it be the delivery guy, may it be the postman, may it be anybody. I think that the level of satisfaction they have of doing or performing their duties is on another level. It's because of the fact that they get paid similar. for anybody who might be doing or running any other chores, he's going to get per hour pay, for example, £9 or £8 or £7 or whatever it is.
Okay.
Even the garbage man or the postman, everybody's going to get the same wage. So there's no
Alright.
discrimination, and I think it helps people as well. And I think that we really need to learn from this.
Absolutely.
But other than that,
yeah, along
since-
with that, there
yeah?
are so many other things that we need to learn from the
Yeah.
UK, and I think you can link it better, so I'll let you go.
Yeah, since I'm talking about UK, ladies and gentlemen, so today what we've done is that we've actually invited a few gentlemen from British Council over here in Pakistan
Yeah.
because they have this flagship program with the name of Active Citizen. What do they do within this program is something which I know, but I want them to explain it to all of our people who are
Let's
out
do
there in
it.
46 different countries. And then there are international students visiting Pakistan today as well. And we would love to know what are they doing and whether they have learned something from our culture and whether they're going to take away something good from us or not. So
Let's
without
find
any
out.
further ado, ladies and gentlemen, today we've actually been joined by people, a few of them from abroad, a few of them from Pakistan as well, but they will definitely help us learn about Active Citizen. So ladies and gentlemen, with us today from British Council, we have Mr. Junaid Khan. Hello Junaid, how are you? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Shahzad. Thank you for having us on the show. And today we will be discussing about the Active Citizens Program.
Yep.
Basically, Active Citizens Program.
We're going to ask
okay,
you about
okay,
that.
okay,
Don't worry,
yeah,
don't
okay,
worry.
fine.
Yeah, hold on,
Okay.
hold your horses. But alongside Mr. Junaid, ladies and gentlemen, we were lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who's actually from Sri Lanka, and she's visiting Pakistan just because of this Active Citizen Program and the international student visit. So she's none other Miss Kanti Kumari. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Hello, Ivan. Greetings from Sri Lanka. And I'm Kanti from Sri Lanka, and I'm actually a professor in physics.
Yep.
And I'm a student in term, with respect to Active Citizens Program because I've started since 2016.
Wow.
And
That's interesting, very interesting.
yes.
A professor in physics,
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
now student to, let's say, well, being a citizen.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's great, Kanti. Thank you very much for joining us. And we have had several guests from Sri Lanka as well, even the
Oh.
Sri Lankan ambassador on our show. And it has
Okay.
always been a pleasure to be in conversation with
Thank
people
you.
from Sri Lanka. But alongside Ms. Kanti Kumari, ladies and gentlemen, we have actually been joined by somebody who once again happens to be from Pakistan. And yeah, he's smiling today. I don't know why, but I'm going to ask him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Malik Musabbihi. Hello, Malik. How are you?
I'm fine. Musabbin is my name, and I'm from Peshawar.
Yep.
I've been active citizen for past 8 months,
Wow.
and it was a great experience for me.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much for being an active citizen. Well, I think me and Shiza, we are citizens which are on snooze. And we really need to get active as well. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, last but not the least, somebody who actually happens to be from the same place I was talking about, where I visit a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, he's none other Mr. James Shepherd. Hi, James. How are you?
I'm good. I also slept in this morning, so I would say I was needing to wake up. But I'm from the northeast of England, and it's been really exciting to come and visit and to learn some stuff that I can bring home to my own communities.
Well, that's great. And you really look lovely with that Sindhi ajrak on
Thank
your
you.
shoulders as well.
It was a beautiful gift and a bit of culture I can take home, and feels very special to know how much it means to the region.
That's great.
And we're happy that you're actually respecting our traditions as well. Thank you for doing that. But now, I see one thing when you're talking about active citizens, there is no age group or age limit to that. Is that true?
No, we also, in Pakistan, we have a age bracket.
Yeah.
It's from 18th year to 35 years. So in
Yeah,
Pakistan,
I'm
yes.
still in that bracket.
So-
Wow.
So basically, we're talking about the youth over here.
Yeah.
Yes. So let me give you the overview of the
Yes,
Active
sure.
Citizens Program. Basically, Active Citizens is a flagship program of the British Council.
Yep.
It was piloted in 2009. It's been like 10th year we are delivering, we are managing this project.
Okay.
And we are celebrating 10th year anniversary soon,
Yeah.
right after we are done with the ISV, International Study
congratulations
Visit.
on that.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, thank you. So basically what we do in Active Citizens is we deliver a 5-day training to the youth through different model. Currently we are working on the ACP University model. We
Okay.
deliver the 5-day training to the university. They engage the youth, and then the youth highlights the social issues of their community. And once they come up with this, once they highlight the solutions of their community, they come up with the solutions
Okay.
by mobilizing the key stakeholders and the community members. So that is a brief overview of
Active
Active
citizens.
Citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, and which is why I'm going to move on to our physics professor, ladies and gentlemen. And Ms. Kanti, what I
Yeah.
want you to know is that since you've enrolled in the Active Citizen program, what are the weaknesses which you have opted within your own community, and then how do you think that you were able to mobilize the key stakeholders?
Yes, actually, I started with Active Citizen program in 2016
Wow.
as a facilitator with some UK facilitators, and then immediately I decided that this is a really a good chance for our students in the
Yep.
university to do some community, help the
Work, yeah.
community and find out what the problems are, and then
Alright.
whatever the way that they can help.
Yeah.
And luckily we started with about 40 students as a course unit actually,
Yep.
and they earned credit by doing this.
Wow.
So that and we had several projects, and when we visit to Lahore last 2 days, I realized how similar some of the problems are and the solutions are that we
Yeah.
all the students are dealing with. And
Alright.
so helping children to learn English, and doing something to for elderly and
Yeah.
also poor. So all these active programs are very
Yeah.
similar, I find it, and
Yeah.
I found very close relationship with Pakistan and Sri Lanka in that aspect.
But
But
that's
that's
great. But I only wanted to ask one thing, since you said that it was a university course program,
Yes.
and there was a credit given to all the students
Yes,
as well. How
yes.
many credit hours was this subject?
Actually, to give the program, the 5-day program is 2 credits,
Okay.
and then the project they take about like 8 to 10 months to complete. That's another 2 credits.
Wow.
So altogether, it's 4
That's
credit
great.
course. Yes.
Which is
Wow.
why I remember, ladies and gentlemen, that when I was supposed to actually submit my thesis,
Yeah.
so my teacher said that if you're actually going to be an active citizen, or you're going to work for the
Community
community,
services, yeah.
you're actually going to get 3 credit hours, and I was like very happy. And so that's what I did, because back in those days, I still remember that there was a lot of flooding going on, and we kind of had to help people who were actually kind of displaced from their homes as well, and we did that. And I think
That's
that was a
amazing.
great initiative by the teachers as well. And thank you very much, British Council, for reminding me all of this as well. Yeah, Musabbahi.
I have a question.
Yeah,
for
go
you.
ahead.
All right. So I'm gathering from whatever you guys have been saying that this is not just student-related problems; it is on a societal level. Let's say.
Yes.
Now, this is very important for you because belonging to Pakistan, of course. Do you feel like ma'am said, the problems that Pakistani students and the Sri Lankan students, pointed out were almost similar? Do you feel this way as well? And what were some of the very common problems that all of you were on the same page on?
Basically, what we did, we find out that we are very common. Despite of being from different countries, we have very many things in common, many
Okay.
things.
I mean, we look similar. That's the best part.
My project was in the domain of environment. What we did,
wow.
we developed an Android app. I'm a lead developer.
Wow.
So what we did, we developed an Android app which was basically focused on waste management. The household installed the app, and they could prefer giving segregated waste to us, and we will allot points to them, and then they can use those points to purchase anything from the local stores registered in our database.
That's
All right.
interesting.
Well, that's great.
And I
But-
see how you're working on the incentive here as well, because
Yes.
that is how our
Yeah.
society works, to be honest.
Yes, that's Waste Hunter for you.
No, but what are you going to do with that waste then?
We will give them to appropriate industries and recycle them.
And is it
generate-
happening now?
Yes, it is in the pilot, and we just implemented this project in UET Peshawar, and now in a couple of months, inshallah, we will be moving towards our first phase 1, in which we will be targeting households and different communities.
You're a good boy. You make me proud. Well,
Yeah,
that's
mashallah,
nice.
that's amazing.
That's great. So let's move on to James over here. So James, what about you? Let us know. So how did you become an active citizen, and how do you think that you've helped the community to be a better one?
That's an excellent question. I've been involved in community work, especially community arts and theatre and performing arts back in England. And at the minute, my group of active citizens were working to try and revitalise some areas of the local town where the economy is not what it used to be. The shops have closed down, and we're trying to bring the culture and well-being projects into the old shops that are no longer there.
Yeah.
And it's been very interesting seeing the projects that are happening here in Pakistan that students have been running, because there are a lot of similarities of trying to bring well-being and making people feel more confident and empowered and proud of the local area where they live.
Yeah.
And so I've taken a lot of notes, I've had a lot of experience which I'll take back and be an inspiration for some of the projects we might be able to run in these.
Wow. That's great. And I think that the feeling is mutual as well, that we get to learn from you and you get to learn from us. And I think that this is how world's going to be a better place to live. But there's one more question, Mr. Junaid, and I'm sorry that if you find it a little difficult. But all I wanted to ask was, why in the first place British Council had a program which was labeled as Active Citizen? Why do you think there was need for such a program? And this program is actually hosted in 4 different countries as well. Namely, you said UK.
UK, 2 rounds will be hosted by UK.
Yep.
The one
This
in
year.
Pakistan, yes, this year,
Yep.
and the 4th will be hosted in Mexico.
Well, yeah, so that's great. So now, why in the first place do you think British Council had to come up with this idea that, okay, hey, we need to have an active citizen program?
So basically, when we started the program in 2009, there was a community, there was a gap between the youth and the community. They were living in the bubble when they were in the university.
Yep.
So when they come into the professional life, they have to face a different kind of issues which were not taught them in the universities.
Yeah.
So we came up with an idea, the British Council came up with an idea of having a program which will engage youth to highlight social issues of their community,
Yeah.
and also empowering them through capacity building so that they come up with a solution as well.
Okay.
So for this, once we were done with the first year of the Active Students program, we wanted to have something called exchange program or something like this. So for this, we introduce ISV, International Study Visits.
Okay.
So what we do is in international study visit, selected active citizens from the different universities.
Yep.
They come to the host country. This time we have a participants from 4 countries, as Shahzad has already mentioned, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, Mexico, and Pakistan.
Yeah.
They are here in Pakistan. They visited different communities of Sheikhupura, the outskirts of Sheikhupura, the outskirts of Lahore, Dipend Dadan Khan, the partner universities as well, where the students showcase their social action projects,
Okay.
and then they get the idea of what kind of problems we have in our community.
Yeah.
And when they go back to their home country, so they have a kind of flavor of the social issues in Pakistan, and they can compare it what they have in their country.
Exactly.
So the tagline, I would like to relate it with the tagline of the Active Citizen. It is called globally connected, locally engaged. So ISV covers the globally connected part
Yeah.
of the program.
Wow.
Okay, that's amazing. Do we still have time for this segment?
Yeah, obviously.
All right, so here's the thing. You guys have been mentioning the projects that we need to take a look at, of course, and in terms of improving the society.
Exactly.
But I want you guys to probably name some of them. Of course, we've been talking generally, but when you say you need to improve the society and come up with solutions of the issues that do exist within our societies or other ones as well, one by one probably, I'll ask you guys to probably highlight one of them. For example, if I were to say that I have a major issue with the lack of, services for elderly people over here
Exactly.
in Pakistan, or, old age houses as well.
Houses.
So this was just an example. Maybe we'll start with you.
Okay, so basically, we had a visit in the partner university yesterday. We do not
Palliative care was the word I was looking
Exactly,
for,
so-
sorry.
So basically, we do not restrict the students to work in specific domains. So it's up to the student in which project.
Of course.
Yes,
But can you
exactly.
name out some of them, the work that they've done?
Heal the Burn project, one of the
Oh.
highly recognized social action project of the Active Citizens. It
Hmm.
was carried out by the students of the Kennett College,
Okay.
and we also had door to awareness, in which the students of one of the partner university in Lahore, they completed the social action project. They provided the education facilities to the underprivileged students, and they do not charge anything.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
So that is one of the few
Exactly, that's great. But which is why I'm going to move on to Ms. Kanti Kumari over here as well.
We should
and
move on with my
No,
question, though.
No, but I think that what we need to do is, since we have other students waiting
Yeah, of
as well,
course.
so what we need to do is we need to know about their experience over here in Pakistan. What have you eaten so far? Where have you been so far?
And have you
So-
learned Urdu?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have not learned
It's all right.
Urdu, but we enjoyed visiting in Lahore, the walled city, the
Yeah.
fort, the big mosque. I do not remember Bashkan.
Yeah.
Yes, and we enjoyed it very much. I just want to mention one program
Sure.
that really moved me. at Kennett College, a group of girls doing the mental health program.
Okay.
And it was really interesting the way they started. Actually, one girl had her father died few years back, and then she was very down, mentally. So then actually they were from psychology department. So they decided, a group of students decided that whatever they learn can be really put to good use. So they started this program with mentally mental health. So they've done quite a lot with that program. I was really moved by that.
Exactly.
So proud to
that.
hear that.
And thank you
Yes,
very
yes.
much for sharing it with us as well. So James, what about you? What did you eat and what did you like the most?
All of the food was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was great. The grilled lamb, to die for. It was amazing. But a thing it's became a joke amongst everybody here is that I love the milk tea and the lassi.
Yeah.
And I especially like drinking it at night, which I've been told nobody does. It's a breakfast or dinner, so I said everybody should start drinking it at night, and I'll take it home, and everyone in England needs to try it.
That's great, and thank you very much for sharing that with us. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I've got an interesting story to share, and that is that while I used to go to school when I was probably 10 or 11 years old, so I hail from a background which is very Punjabi, and lassi is a very Punjabi drink to drink, yeah. So I used to drink it before going to school, and I used to feel very sleepy, because that's what lassi does to you as well. So my teacher one day asked me, what's wrong with you? Why are you always so sleepy? And I was like, I drink lassi before coming to school. So since then till now, all my friends from school call me Lassi Man as well. Yeah. So I just wanted to share it with you all. But please don't go anywhere, because when you guys will come back, we'll have a new bunch of kids who are over here visiting through the International Student Visit Program as well. And they're active citizens from their relevant countries as well. But thank you very much for being with us. It was lovely to be in conversation with you all. Keep on coming back and make sure that you stay an active citizen so that you can visit Pakistan over and over again. So for everybody who's out there, we're going for a short break. Don't go anywhere. Good morning.
Tent pegging is an equestrian sport practiced in many countries around the world. Wooden targets are placed on ground at a specific distance, and players wearing traditional dress and turban have to run their horses and try to hit the target and pick it up with a lance. Target missing is considered as a failure. Tent pegging is thought to have originated in the subcontinent. Historians say that mounted soldiers would gallop through enemy camps, removing the tent pegs with their lances and swords. They would be followed by more mounted soldiers who took advantage of the surprise and havoc caused by collapsed tents and a confused enemy. Today, tent pegging is practiced around the world, but is especially popular in Australia, India, Israel, Oman, Pakistan, South Africa and the United Kingdom. The Olympic Council of Asia included tent pegging as an official sport in 1982, and the International Federation for Equestrian Sports recognised it as an official equestrian discipline in 2004. After independence of Pakistan, the game came under clouds because of lack of state patronage, which ultimately diversified to more glitzy, more glamorous games like cricket and hockey. Public interest in the cities thus diverted these games of glamour, yet the landlords, bourgeois and the rural folk kept it alive. New and emerging national tent pegging associations have helped spread the sport's popularity. Players from Pakistan are now regularly participating in international tent pegging competitions, and many of them have left indelible impressions by winning gold medals many a times.
Welcome back to World This Morning with Shazad Khan and Shazad Hashmi, ladies and gentlemen, where today we are both energetic because this show is so informative for us. And well, for all those who just joined in, we're talking about active citizens today. Shazad, when we're looking at today's world, the population, it's immense. And I mean, it's only fair to think that all the people existing on the planet right now should only be active and responsible, or rather proactive, in order to get a better world in the future for the coming generations, especially after we're so angry at the boomers. For what they did to our climate.
Well, we really do not have to be angry. I mean, it's everybody's choice to have the whatever number of babies they wanted to have.
It's not just about babies, though.
Yeah,
It's
but
a totally different debate.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it afterwards. But today, ladies and gentlemen, since we're talking about Active Citizen Program, in the first half, you know, I think that Junaid kind of explained very well what the Active Citizen Program was. But then at the same time, I think that there was still a little more need to kind of put more light onto how Active Citizen Program came into being, and we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who's a global facilitator with the Active Citizen Program, and he was the one who actually planned it, and he was the one who penned it down, and he's the one that after 10 years, he's with us today in Pakistan. We're very lucky. Thank you very much, Mike, for joining us. It's wonderful to have you.
Thank you both.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
And you look very dapper.
So do you.
Thank you very much once again. That's why I said it. But alongside Mike, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually been joined by a few students as well. And right now, we have been joined by Kelly, who's from UK as well. Hello, Kelly. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. You look very pretty.
Thank you.
And alongside...
hold on. I love the henna on your hand. Can we show it to everyone?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So she's already getting to know our culture. Well, that's great. I love henna too as well. And you know what they say about henna? Yeah. So for a woman who just gets married, and if she's got henna on her hands, it needs to be very dark. And if it is dark, they say that the relationship's going to prosper. Well, I don't know. This is what people say. I think that we really need to get those people on Active Citizen Program so that they can learn. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we've even been joined by Mr. Bilal Ahmed from Pakistan. Hello, Bilal. Thank you very much for making us proud.
I am from Lahore, Pakistan.
Yeah.
And my self project was about women's self-defense.
Yes.
So it was a very interesting experience for me when I am engaged with social active citizen program.
Yep.
It was a good experience for me.
Well, that's great. But why women's self-defense? Why not Bilal's self-defense or something of that sort?
Yes, because there is working on another problems in our society, like women's rights, women educations, but there is no
program about
the women's self-defense, because the problems, death cases are increasing day by day in our society, not in Pakistan, all over the world. So that's why I am choose this
program. That is very nice and smart of you.
Exactly. Well, that's great. And yeah, we're definitely going to ask him about the Women's Self-Defense Program. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, so there's one more gentleman on the international student visit as well. And he's from our neighboring countries. We're very glad that he's over here. He's our neighbor. He's got a big smile on his face. He's none other Mr. Asmatullah Jafri from Afghanistan. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How about you?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you all over here. But Mike, I'm going to get my conversation started with you. So you are the brains behind the Active Citizen Program. I'm sure that it's not wrong to say that. So what went down while you were actually planning for the program, and how do you see the outcomes coming out after a decade?
Well, it was a team effort. I can't take credit for it, but I was in the room. The process was really formed from two parent programs. So there were two parent programs that the British Council were running, one in the north part of Africa and Mid East, and one in the south part of Europe. Both programs were successful, but neither of them was what you would call scalable. You couldn't really guarantee that they would last for more than 2 or 3 years, and you couldn't necessarily guarantee that they would go global. So changes were made to the program. First of all, we introduced the social action dimension, and then secondly, we made sure that people were able to connect globally. This has given it sort of sustainability, if you like. That happened 10 years ago, right from the very beginning, from the get-go. The change that we've seen, of course, is that exactly that happened, and it came up like a balloon.
Wow.
We were able to expand incrementally to more than 70 countries. So now more than 280,000 active citizens around the world. So what started in an archetypal smoke-filled room became a pilot, and we all know a pilot is something we don't know if there's money going to be available next year.
Yeah.
Then it became a project,
Okay.
so it had a beginning and an end. Then it became a program, which is officially program. But I would say now it's probably a global movement.
Well, that's
All
great.
right,
Thank
so
God that
10
you were in the room back then. Yeah.
Exactly. So 10 years down the lane, do you feel like this is what you guys had imagined?
No, I think it's beyond.
Oh,
Really
okay.
beyond what we imagined. We imagined it might have a lifespan of maybe 3 years. We imagined it might reach to a half a dozen, knocking on 10 countries.
Yeah.
We imagined it might reach a group of people who would have fond memories of it 10 years later. But actually, we celebrated a 10-year anniversary. It's actually, the program is 10 years and 1 week old.
All right.
It began here in Pakistan.
Oh, wow.
So we're very proud of that fact. Very proud of the fact that we're here in Pakistan at this particular time.
Wow.
But I think I like to imagine that we're not here celebrating a 10-year anniversary. We're here celebrating a point which is really quite at the beginning of the
Yeah,
process.
absolutely.
That in 30 years we'll be talking about the Active Citizens Program.
Well,
And
that's
you
good.
can invite us back.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
And I'll have
We
more
love
grey
it.
in my beard.
Yeah, if he's still there, you know, we'll definitely do that. But what about you, Kelly? How did you become a part of the Active Citizen Program, and how did you even get to know about it?
Well, I'm a youth worker for the Northwest Migrants Forum in the north of Ireland in Derry. This forum focuses on migrants, refugees, and the Black minority ethnic community.
Yep.
I got involved when I was obviously working with the youth, and my facilitator at the time came and approached me about the program
Yep.
and asked did I want to get involved. I was so excited about the opportunity to locally engage and globally connect.
Yep.
Within that, then we have now come up with a social action, which is where I'm from in Northern Ireland. It's part of the UK, or 6 counties, but there's 26 that are a republic. And within that, we have a common travel area. Within that common travel area, residents of Northern Ireland are able to move freely.
Okay.
However, we understood that there was legislation from 1922 that is very outdated that stops migrants and refugees that are residents within our community, who are living in our community, who are part of our community,
Yeah.
that are not getting the opportunity to utilise this common travel area and are stopped, and there are visa restrictions.
Wow.
So we are now lobbying to change the legislation and give the opportunity for these migrants to be more connected and more involved in our community, because it's their community also.
And were you able to do that?
We are now lobbying, we're in the process, we've done the brief, and
That's
we're
great.
contacting local politicians and community representatives, and we're getting it all moving.
It's a great initiative. So
Wow.
when you
Yeah.
get to see those refugees and people who are not able to utilize that space, what do they say to you?
It's heartbreaking, some of the stories that we
Yeah.
hear, 100%, and like there's children at school and they're stopped being engaged in their own classes and field
Yep.
trips that they're attending
Yep.
because of this issue, and they're being excluded, and we don't want to see that. It's
Wow.
too heartbreaking, and we want to change that within our community.
That's great, and all the best to you too as well
Thank
for
you.
that.
But that's amazing, you know, being a local of the area
Yes.
and then feeling so deeply, or empathizing rather, with the migrants and then refugees as well, making it all inclusive. It's brilliant what you're doing. And now moving on to you, you have almost a similar story, I'm going to say, because you are working for something that you're not directly a part of, but you see the issue every day. In Pakistan and even in, let's say, all around the globe, ladies and gentlemen, this is a genuine issue. Of course, women somehow are just openly violated or are more exposed to violations, let's say, than any other gender. So self-defense, of course, is very important.
That's debatable though, yeah, but still.
Than any
She's my
other gender.
co-host, yeah.
All right, so of course self-defense is very important. How
Yes.
did this idea come to you, and how are you pulling this off? What is the project all about?
When the British Council gave us a precious opportunity to perform a social project, we racked our brains and came up with an idea on which topic we can do something for the society, to the community.
Yeah.
And when we came to know that there are the many problems in the society after survey, then we have started with the help of my another group members, Mariam, which was my group member.
Hey Mariam, we miss you. Yeah.
So after this, we decided to start the works on women's self-defense,
Self-defense,
because as I am say.
Are you
Before-
training them so?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
We have decided a specific target community like schools and colleges,
Yeah.
where we decided to teach the basic technical techniques, especially teenage girls.
Yeah.
So we have, when we move to the that societies, we have many sessions with other classes, like teenage girls, I have said. So we have started to give a demo by me and my other by other partner and other fellow, and the basic technical techniques by physically given by my others female colleague members to the girls especially. So it was my first experience. So we have a lot of hardship, but with the help of our group members and the encouraging response from the schools and societies, so we proved that it's not possible and turned into the possible.
Wow, that's great. So ladies
That's
and
so
gentlemen, believing
nice.
in something, I think that this is something which is going to work out. But hey, I think that this is something which I figured out, that just because of this active citizen, today we got to learn about too many different issues in different parts of the world and how people are resolving that, and I think that's great. But I have a thought over here, and it's because of the fact that, you know, since Bilal said that he's actually working for women's self-defense, and it's great. But what I'm pushed to think is that when all of these boys and men are at home alongside their mothers or wives or probably sisters, they do not do any of this cheap stuff. What is that one thing which actually pushes them to do or harass women when they step outside their houses? I think that this is something which we can work on. Probably, I think we all need to tell all of those women who are out there, as soon as a man approaches, just tell him, what if I'm your sister or mother? I think that this is something which is actually going to help you defend yourself.
I don't think so. I've tried that. But anyway, moving on with you. From Afghanistan, trust me, you guys, but from Afghanistan.
I thought I gave a beautiful message and then all of a sudden, here it goes.
Sorry.
It's all right. We can still try.
Yeah, we'll still try. Okay, so from Afghanistan, what are some of the common problems that you can connect with, with Pakistanis on the same level as well? And which is your project that you're working for?
Okay, in Afghanistan, we are suffering from different problems. But since I was just a child, I lived in an area where IDPs from different provinces of Afghanistan are gathered and settled and live together. So as an IDP child, so in Afghanistan, the people suffers from socio-cultural gaps, different from different tribes, different area of geographic area, and different religion, different language. When they are in such a platform that people are different, so there are many conflicts. So as a child, we were suffering conflicts, and the people of each group were playing separately.
Okay.
So we wanted, when I joined Active Citizen, so it motivated me to implement a social action project. So I thought, what can I do? Then I found that football is the only shared interest among all the children.
Okay.
So we started our project entitled We Play Together. We gathered all children from different sociocultural background together and start playing together. So our project was selected as the winner of peace building category across the world and was showcased in 10th anniversary in London. So
how do you feel about that?
Oh, it's great.
It is, and I tell you, it's an achievement because, when you're listening to something like this, collecting all the kids and let them play football, it might sound generic, but I mean, look at them, Shahzad, if you're teaching them to play with each other or to, let's say, just be in contact with each other at such an early age, then there's definitely going to be no conflict.
So they established a friendship association.
Exactly.
And
they were Afghans before they were anything else.
themselves started to design activities for the children of IDPs. So now they play together, they enjoy the life together, they go to school together.
So it's basically a team building activity, ladies and gentlemen, but on a very larger scale, and I think that this is how you can bridge gaps too as well. But very quickly, towards the end, there's only one thing, Mike, which I wanted to ask, and that is, how do you think that this gap in between the academia and the corporate organizations can actually be fulfilled probably or be facilitated with such a program as well? Do you think that it's going to help bridge gaps in between academia and organizations?
I think it can do, and I think there's a third dimension, which is civil society organizations. So if we can make a triangulation between what employers need, the skills that are available, or the skills that are required by employers, what universities are teaching, but also the experiential skills that can be developed. What used to be called soft skills, when I don't agree they should be soft skills, they're hard skills. The ability to communicate, the ability to understand who you are in the context of other people, the ability to work together as a team and to stay together as a team. I think if we can not teach those skills, because it's not a push program. The Active Citizens program is a pull program. We turn it on like an electromagnet.
Yeah.
If we can do that, working with universities, working with civil society organisations, working with governments, working with businesses as well, then we've got a magic formula.
Exactly. Well, that's great. Thank you very much for saying that. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to be a perfect wrap as well. But thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Kelly. Thank you very much, Bilal. Thank you very much for joining us as well. But for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, we're definitely thankful to British Council for initiating such a program where people are coming together and bridging gaps.
Absolutely, because Shahzad, I think Mike very rightly said, these are not just soft skills, and this is only in the 21st century that human development is actually paid attention to.
Exactly.
And I think we really have to work on it harder. This was just 10 years. I wish you guys 50 and even more years for that. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Inshallah, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's anything you need to write to us, write on our Facebook page with the name of
World This Morning.
On Twitter.
World This Morning without a G.
Daily Motion on YouTube.
World This Morning, World This Morning.
And the repeat you can catch at
5 past 9 p.m. tonight. Till the next time, 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.